And so we're like complaining about that now.
Always something wrong. Hi guys, it's Dan and Michelle with Honeymoon Always. Today we are coming to you from Camas, Washington, which is just outside of Portland, Oregon. We are here visiting my family for a bit of a trip. We have been living in Portugal for about 6 months, and as part of our move, we wanted to be able to travel more. And so traveling home to see family more is actually part of that, and it's been really great. But we are actually really surprised to notice all the things that have changed about us and how we feel, and kind of some of the reverse culture shock that we've experienced since being back. Like, I didn't think 6 months was that long, but I'm actually really surprised by how much we've changed, how much I've changed, and the things that we're noticing about being back in America. So we wanted to share all that with you. If this is interesting to you, we hope you will subscribe to our channel and follow along with us on Instagram at Honeymoon Always.
So the first thing I want to talk about is consumerism. And we've talked about this before, and we know just in the US, people buy more stuff. And it became really apparent when we went through Christmas, because we enjoyed, like, I think the best Christmas we ever had, because we started with a European style Christmas, which was going to all the Christmas markets in Portugal and seeing how they celebrate Christmas, which was awesome. And it didn't involve buying hordes of gifts to give each other. And then we went to New York City and saw all the iconic spots there. We went to the Rockettes, and I mean, it was just a lot of fun. And then we came here to Washington and spent time with Michelle's family, and we're part of the gift giving there. And it's such a huge difference. And I knew this because I lived in Brazil. It was the same thing where, like, there, they just don't give the mounds of gifts. And here, people just give tons of gifts. And I think that comes with the ease of buying cheap things and quickly getting them to you. In Portugal, a lot of imported goods, they're all more expensive. Here, they're more affordable. You can quickly get them, and you can really do a lot of shopping without even leaving the house. And returns are super simple. So just overall, it's a lot easier to buy things here. And because of that, there's a lot of just churn of your stuff. So people buy stuff quickly. They let go of it pretty quickly. And Christmas, we just see a ton of gifts.
I think with that, it's been a big change for us because obviously we are American, and Dan is an excellent gift giver. He's given me, like, we really try to lean into more experiences in general, but like, he's so thoughtful. I always look forward to his gifts. And this year it felt different. And I think part of that is we were very excited and felt very fortunate to be spending time with our family. But also the year has been so life-changing for us and adventurous. I didn't feel the need for us to really go overboard with expressing our love through gifts, if that makes sense. I think I got him like a pair of socks.
Yeah. And some candies.
And some candy. We kept going to the grocery store like, okay, we'll buy American candy that you're missing. And that's the gift. So that's pretty much what he did. I did get him a print of himself surfing. We got some nice photos from the surf camp that he did in Portugal. So we were missing some art in Portugal. So hopefully we'll be able to bring that photo back. But anyway, it was a much more low-key Christmas for the two of us. Still had a fabulous time spending time with family and sharing gifts with them.
And in that topic, one thing that was surprising coming back is it is still a little bit harder than it used to be to buy things here.
That's true.
One is we have, there are shortages of things. So you go to the store and you just might not have what you're looking for. And second is, I don't know if we were just spoiled in Austin because they had like an Amazon warehouse there, but we could get things sometimes the same day, but always like the next day. Whereas like we're trying to prepare for a ski snowy adventure we're about to go on, and everything takes like a week to get here. And so we're like complaining about that now.
Always something wrong. But one thing that we've really enjoyed about being back, and we knew that this would be the case, is it's really nice to be able to buy the things that you need. Despite it being slightly more difficult than it used to be, it's still like, there's just so much variety. And even if you can't find it at one place, you can go to 15 other stores to go try to find it. So that has been really nice about being back.
It's also nice to be back to food that we know and love. We did a whole video on our experience with food, Portugal versus the US. And we know you guys love that one based on the comments.
We got a little bit of heat for that one. As expected, I think food is a very emotional and personal thing. And it's also different because America is so big and so broad, and Portugal is very small and underrepresented. And so I think any review that is less than stellar glowing, I think can be a sensitive, touchy subject. So if you want to see that, Click here. But it's been really fun to, I don't know, we've just been eating all the food that we have been wanting to eat.
And I only have like 1 or 2 things left on my list to eat, and then I'm ready to go back. We're gonna go back to eating the Portuguese way when our stomachs will appreciate that.
Yes. The other thing is it's really fun to be around family. And this was by design. By moving to Portugal is allowing us to travel more often because we can work for ourselves. And so by design, we are staying in the US a little bit longer than maybe we otherwise would because we want to be able to spend time with family. That is a like core value that we have. And that's why we moved even further away, but it is allowing us to travel more. So we're really loving that.
And we're also loving the variety of weather. So one reason we moved to Portugal is because it's temperate. So you don't have extreme heat or extreme cold. And I like the fact that we can travel someplace to experience an extreme and then go back to a temperate place.
Mm-hmm.
So right now we've really been enjoying the snow that we're in. Like it literally is snowing again. When it was supposed to just rain today.
It's not even like below freezing. It's
just time for some more snow. And we're gonna go to a ranch where there's a bunch of more winter activities. So we love that. And then we can go back to Portugal and have a temperate climate. And if we need some heat or something, we can travel more south. Anyway, we like experiencing the extremes, but when we can control it to some extent by leaving once we've had enough.
Yes. Okay, so those are the things that we have been enjoying about being back in the US. And now we're going to talk about the things that are maybe less positive. And I want to present this with caution. I think people can get really heated on topics on the internet. And if we felt some heat over like food preferences in our last video, I can only imagine what this one is going to be. But these are our genuine feelings, and we're just trying to share what it's been like for us. So we mentioned in our last video, we do still think you should watch it, but our stomachs are pretty mad. The food here hurts our stomachs. And we've heard from a lot of people since we published that video that they felt the same. Like either they've moved to Mexico and then they come back and like, woof, it hurts their stomachs. Or like they've moved to Italy and then they come back and like their bodies don't like it. So this is a very common thing. Makes me a little nervous for the food situation and the general gut health of Americans, because it just does not seem to be a good situation.
Yeah, it's really weird that we've eaten this food all our lives, and now we take a break from it, and then we come back, and our bodies are like, what is happening?
No, it's like a revolt. Like it's not good. So, but the positive of that is I now know, like I mentioned in the other video, I have a lot of food sensitivities in the US. Moved to Portugal and they're just not an issue. So a lovely part about moving to a place where the food is less processed is I feel better.
Another thing is we really miss having a walkable city. We're in an extreme example right now where it takes us like 15 minutes to get anywhere, but mostly 30 or 40 to get to the place we want to go. In Portugal, you can just get anywhere. We were 2 blocks from a grocery store, 1 block from a pharmacy, and we definitely miss that.
Yeah, I think part of that really stuck out to me is here, I feel like we get in a giant car and then we drive from superstore to superstore looking for the things that we want to buy, and then we take them back to our hoard, aka our house, and we try to avoid other people at all costs. Now, there is a moment for that right now because we are in the middle of a pandemic, but it really illuminated, I feel like, a lot of the issues that I feel like we have in America about miscommunication and a lack of community feeling. And there's a lot of individualism that's kind of at the core of what it means to be an American. And I really think if more people lived in a walkable city where you got to see your neighbors and meet all the dogs and meeting like local shop owners, I just think it would be different. I think it would benefit a lot of people in America, and I think a lot of things would change because of that. So we definitely miss that because being in a walkable, lively city is magical.
Yeah, with like public spaces that people can enjoy together and get to know people.
This is one that I feel like we are going to get some comments on. So I'm going to try to treat it delicately. The way that COVID is looked at in Portugal is completely different than the way that it is looked at and treated in the United States. Part of that is that it's a smaller and older population relatively recently coming from a dictatorship. COVID just wasn't politicized in the way that it has been in the United States. And what that means is there's restrictions that happen when you meet certain thresholds of contamination. And then everyone just understands what those are for the most part. And then you move forward with that. And it just feels a lot less chaotic. Whereas in the United States, it's very state to state. Reporting is not consistent. And it's so freaking politicized that it becomes a moral representation and agitation. Everyone is angry. Everyone seems depressed. It just feels so much heavier. And one thing I've noticed about the reporting is that we're seeing a lot of like, oh, in Europe they're having a hard time, and there'll be these headlines, and then the CDC will say like, Portugal is ranked at a stage 4 or whatever. And I can't find comparable reporting for the United States. And so what we hear from other people is like, oh, I hear it's really bad in Europe. And I'm thinking like, have you looked around? Like, it's chaos here and people are angry and upset and there's not a solidified solution. To me, it adds extra stress for everybody. So I feel like everyone has just been like in 2 years of this chaos, and it's stressful and it's sad, and people are, tying it with their political affiliation, which just feels so different than it feels in Portugal, where we felt like people are more community oriented and aim to treat the rest of the community with respect as a baseline.
And even from a selfish perspective, it's just very clear and calm. Because I'm a very chill person.
Yeah.
And in Portugal, COVID's chill because everyone just does what they have to do.
Yeah.
And it's not a thing. Whereas, I witnessed one old lady in a grocery store not wearing a mask. And they're like, excuse me, you need to wear a mask. And she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And put it back on. Or put a mask on because she forgot. Here, it wouldn't go down like that.
No.
And we've seen it the exact opposite, where it's just so much angst and frustration, and it's really just nice in Portugal where it's calm and things are going to be treated in a certain way, so you don't have to wonder about how it's going to be here. And here we kind of keep away from people mostly just due to our location, but it'll be nice to go to Portugal and know what the rules are and know what we need to do to be able to kind of move forward.
One slight positive in the US is that we were eligible to get a booster shot super quickly. So that made us feel better, because in Portugal we're not eligible for that yet. So we feel a little bit safer for that. But
yeah. And along those lines is we've noticed people really like to talk about politics here, and we didn't miss that at all.
No.
Like, I don't need to know your political views, but a lot of people want to tell me them or showcase them with profanities and things.
I was listening to a news story a couple days ago where it was talking about how our political affiliation in the United States has become so deeply tied with morality and like the saving of our democracy that people view like the other side as the enemy. And I feel like with every interaction, people are like feeling each other out for where other people stand, because it's a moral failing if you don't agree. Both sides feel this way. And that is exhausting. And it's like, especially having been in Portugal and having met so many different types of people and had a lot of like really good conversations about it, it just feels like such an unproductive use of energy. And it is so negative in the US. I truly feel like everyone here is so much more depressed and anxious, and there's a lot less certainty in almost every interaction that you have. You can't just go about your day and have a normal conversation, because like something even perceived to be political is going to come up and it's going to cause some feelings, if not a reaction. So we don't love that and are looking forward to being in Portugal, where that, with the exception of us having a presence on the internet where we do come in contact with people like this, it's really nice to not have that.
Another thing we remembered coming back is how you can buy a gun anywhere here. Not exactly anywhere, but
like pretty much anywhere.
We went to Walmart and I forgot they had like their big gun.
So you got your like underwear, you got your groceries, you got your guns.
Yeah. I forgot about that, because if someone is found with a gun in Portugal, it gets on the news that like someone had a gun.
Yeah, that took me by surprise. I had forgotten. I feel a sense of relief in Portugal without that.
Coming back here, we are also reminded of one of the main reasons that we moved to Portugal, which is for affordable, high-quality healthcare. As soon as we got here, like Michelle and I never really purchased travel insurance before, but now with the pandemic, it's like, oh yeah, we need to do that. And also, in the past, we'd be traveling from the US to places with affordable healthcare, so if something happened, it wouldn't be as big of a deal. But now we're in the United States, where it's like really important. In fact, we came across an SEO freelancer who does similar work to what I do, and he broke down his expenses for the year, and the biggest expense was healthcare for running his business, and it was over a quarter of his expenses all to healthcare. It's just like wild to me. In Portugal, we had gotten used to the fact that if you get hurt or if you're not feeling well or something's going on, you can just go to the doctor and not worry about the high cost because it's affordable. And I already missed that, and I'm like making a list of things.
Other things you're gonna do.
I'm like, oh, I hurt my shoulder. If that's not better by the time I'm in Portugal, then I'll go see someone. Things like that. And then it's like the concern, like if I get COVID or get sick or whatever, am I going to be okay without going to a urgent care or something? Because if I do go, then, who knows what the bill will be. Yeah, so those are a few of the less positive things that happen when you leave the United States and come back, and the things you start to see. Overall, like, we lived here the overwhelming majority of our lives, and it feels that we feel that comfort here, and it's, that's really great. And going back to Portugal, it's more time for more adventure and feeling less comfortable at times, which has been great for growth.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to know from you, if you moved to another country or left the U.S. for an extended period of time, when you come back, like, what do you notice as a difference? Or if you're still in Portugal or somewhere else, like, what do you not miss about the U.S.? Let us know in the comments below.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. So we hope you will follow along with us on Instagram at Honeymoon Always, subscribe to our channel, and we will talk to you later.
Excuse me if you've seen me look off to the left.
I noticed you were doing that.
It's because there's snow, and it was supposed to rain all day, but take a look at this.
I don't know if you can see it with the light, but oh, yeah, you can.
Okay, bye.